Okay, the state of Apostle Paul, meaning his thorn in the flesh. So as we know, Apostle Paul got full regeneration. Okay, he got like scales of his eyes, he lost sight, and in the 3 days, the entity, like he was laid hands upon by I don't remember the name, Antipa, or Ananias, probably, yeah. But Ananias and the Holy Spirit got infused into him, and you know, kind of, the sight came back to him. So he got fully restored. And but then we know what that he had a 3 year in the wilderness. He didn't, as he said, he didn't go to have counsel, advice with the, as he says, blood and flesh, with the apostles right away. And he spent 3 years in the desert. What happened there? So what happened there? Somehow this entity managed to trick Apostle Paul, so it inserted partially itself into his flesh. So, and of course, the trick was through the law, through the reason, okay? So he was deceived. There is no other way to do it to a person who got fully restored in the baptism of the Holy Spirit. He is stronger than any principality, stronger than Satan himself. Not even close. Not even close. Like feather all the wicked entities, because you need to experience it. So, and that's why he was preaching against the law all the time, saying you shouldn't do against grace. Even sometimes, and I think it would be proper to say, but he didn't, still being afraid of the Pharisees, and thinking about those who's gonna read his epistles, because he got compromised. You feel that fear, that influence other people feel who are not converted, and but he tends to, in his epistles, to say that even if he literally says, let's not come back to the rules of the law that says us, don't touch this, don't do that. Because in the New Testament, it is who does. Okay? If you are doing it in the name of this, in the name of the Holy Spirit, okay, you doing everything right. It is God's doing. Okay? That's how even, if you remember the Maradona, the football player, then he scored with his arm, okay, and the score wasn't changed, it got counted. He later said it was the hand of God. So he was joking, but that's how it is, okay. Christ is the law, is the lawgiver, okay. So the if he wants something, it's for you, it's legal, like by default, without even asking. And the accusing entity that tries to stop you just gets blown away, and you must blow it away, okay. But it kind of names you and shuffles in front of you the reasons, the laws, and really, this entity, it's like telepathy. It it brings up to you the rules. This you don't can do. This you can do. You know. So the Apostle Paul was in such situation all his life. So his flesh was being pulled down by this entity, and his spirit, meaning he himself, was being pulled up. And he was trying to keep this connection to the end. That's why he was saying, I'm running to the end, for me not to be a castaway. He was trying to keep connection to this. It's like praying unto this, trying to get untangled from this entity completely, but it's impossible. He writes, he did that praying 3 times. And it's not, some people say, it wasn't like he like once asked God, please release me, and second and third time. It was it's like the whole session of prayer, like for several days or maybe for several weeks, and he did it 3 times and no release. Because the baptism of the Holy Spirit is only 1 time. And so what do you do in such a situation like Apostle Paul? You do what Apostle Paul did. I mean, you keep monetizing on this situation, trying to keep this connection to your spirit as long as possible, better to the death of your body. Okay? And monetize on this, meaning this spirit, this blessing, this molten gold will bring people to you in your life, which you, since you get influence of this wicked accusing entity on your left side of your brain, usually from the left side, the practical side, you will be stopping yourself from taking what God, this blessing, brings to you. Okay? Listening to this. So you trump this with this. So you put Satan above God. Okay? And that's how you more and more quench this connection. And more and more quench the Holy Spirit. That's how this connection severs over time, because it's very organic. It is connected to you, this new flesh, and to your body, this directly, and your spirit also like leaning to it, like holding on to it. So what you must do is when some situation, like if you're not married, a girl brought into your life and she wants to deal with you, but you look at yourself with this and you say, oh, I'm not good enough. You have to ignore the signals from that entity and go and take advantage of what this blessing gives to you. Have children, marry, stuff like that. Okay, ignore it. And of course, since you have connection to spirits, the people who are gonna be brought into your life also will be connected to 2 spirits. That's the law. Okay, everything's gonna be compromised, like 2 spirits. But you will have to do like Jacob did. Like Jacob, according to the law, he wasn't supposed to be the firstborn, because Esau was the firstborn. But since he, from God, received the impetus, the momentum to take the blessing, he did it. without listening to Satan, without listening to instructions. So you have to act like Jacob in such a situation, choosing blessing, disregarding the accusation of Satan. That's not only my advice. It's not my advice at all. I heard it from Derek Prince lectures. So he was very deep in examining these situations, and he was exactly talking about the situations when two spirits connected to a person. So ignore the accusation and choose what a blessing brings to you. That girl maybe, you know, she is brought to you by this entity, so she has this blessing. But for instance, with that bad entity, she is connected with another guy. She's living with another guy, okay? But you got into such situation, and you have to do what tells you this entity. If you separate from this fall away for the sake of keeping the law, that's it. The lights is off, okay? The movie set is over. Everybody gets away from you, and you become empty. Keeping with your law, okay? Being with your law, okay? Empty. So you have to allow in such situations your kind of blessed you to act. It's like in that movie, Me, Irene, and Myself with Jim Carrey. Whenever he got the situation, he could act with that Irene, with that good nature, blessed nature. He thought what he wants to do is unclean, and he would dirty his clean nature. That's his wrong understanding, because this is all clean. It's created by God, and you have to assert this nature, act this nature, and do what you want. And whenever Jim Carrey's character refused to do it, kinda chickened out, the bad entity kicked in, and the bad entity inside of him got stronger and stronger, and I don't remember what the movie ends up with, but this is how a person falls away from his blessing, falls away from what Apostle Paul said Galatians not to do, falls away from his connection to God, to the grace. That's how it happens. So, yeah, when you check godly connection, God with Satan, okay, you put this entity, wicked entity that should be down there, with you check with it your connection to God. You check your connection to God with this entity that should be cast away, not you. Okay. So this was the situation with Apostle Paul. He obviously did backslide, and he obviously blamed, but he didn't fall away completely. At least from this, he didn't fall away completely. He died with connection to God. Good for him. A connection, not only that first connection that saves self, which saves you when you die, even as by fire, but he kept this also. It seems to me, yeah. And that's why he was, and he examined this to the core. all this stuff. That's why it is Hebrews 6:4-6. That's why it is Hebrews 10. I don't quite remember, 10:16 probably, or 10:6. This is why. So he tried to get another baptism of the Holy Spirit. He couldn't get it. He didn't get it. Okay? He remained this. But he apparently met people who fell away from this even. In Galatia, he apparently met people who fell away from this in when he was talking to Hebrews, apparently, who cast away forfeited their regeneration, this regenerated state. Okay? So, yeah, that's why he was talking against the law. And by the way, Jesus is, it's very difficult. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about it right now, because the whole video was about what was the state of Apostle Paul. Yeah, spirit connected to this molten gold nature, saved and connected to molten gold nature, and to the flesh, partially connected to molten gold nature, and partially connected to wicked entity. That was the situation of Apostle Paul before he died, and during the period of lifetime. But what to add, Christ said about blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. It's the intricate stuff, but I think this is the same stuff. This is the same stuff. And it happens for the same reason when the person got saved and Satan comes back to counterattack. The person refused to shoo the Satan away. Okay, that's how you actually starting to oppose the Holy Spirit inside of you. Okay, and the third commandment, same stuff. The third commandment was talking about the same stuff. You call on God, He came, and you didn't oppose Satan after that. Of course, you're gonna be punished according to Deuteronomy, and of course, you're not gonna be cleaned according to Exodus, okay, or vice versa. Which one in which place, I don't quite remember. Yeah. So the parables of Christ, when he said people don't wanna drink the new wine because they think